Hello, YouTube fans. This is TheSkullKlown. You can tell from the title. What happens when we die? Now, the first thing I want you to put in your head before I continue on is that in ancient times, even in Egypt, they knew that once you died, you went to the real world. Most people are like, then what's this? This is the physical world. The spiritual world is actually the real world. Yes, it is. It really is. Okay? So what you do here does echo around the universe. But say if you're doing like a job or something like that, you think that shit's gonna matter in the afterlife? Nope. You think the money and the car that you have is gonna matter in the afterlife? Nope. Even in ancient times, they knew physical stuff would be left behind. And they accepted it because they didn't mind. This was more important, their soul. They knew that this flesh that's on them is not real. It's not them. Their soul is them. That's why when you die, your soul is still around. Your soul is still alive. Now I could go more deeper into it about more into it with some extraterrestrials and all that because that is true. Most people are like, oh, that's too much. It actually goes with it. I'm sorry to tell you, and I'm going to tell you briefly about it. There's a system that they made in this planet that once you die, your soul goes to the moon, then comes back here. And that's not supposed to happen. That's what happens if you go to the light. If you don't go to the light and you just turn around and you tell yourself that I want to be part of the cosmos and see my star family, you will literally see the stars. You will literally see the planets. That's what you're supposed to see. You're not supposed to see a fucking guy hovering you, telling you all the bad shit that you've done. That's not supposed to happen at all. Most people are like, how do you know this? It's because you're talking to an empath, a spiritual person, a person that literally went inside and meditate, you know? In other sides of the fucking world, they already know this. They already know this. In Japan, China, and other cultures like the monks and all that shit. They know all of this already. They already know all of this. The reason we don't know about it, or don't want to know about it, which is stupid, you should know, because you should know where you're going to go after this, just to be honest with you. Because so many people are so afraid of what's going to happen to them when they died, because they're not figuring out what the fuck is going to happen to them afterwards. Okay? If you're a good person, then you're a good person, of course. But you gotta remember, you gotta have that in your mind that there's a system in play that the government has made to make sure you keep reincarnating here. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to keep coming to this planet. That is your decision, not the government's. Yes, they're making that decision for you by brainwashing you when you get into the light. You're not supposed to go to the light, like I said. So, what happens when you die? Well, I kind of touch upon it with that. That happens when you die. When you die, your soul, you see like a bright light calling to you, but you don't go. Don't go. Because it's a trick. It's a big fucking trick. Because once you go into that light, you see this fucking person that's, you could say it's Jesus, and talking bad about you. All the shit that you've done, but nothing good. Why would a loving person say that? Why would a loving person do that? That's how you know it's all fake. That's how you know it's not real. Even in, like I said back in the beginning of this video, in ancient times in Egypt, they knew that death was an illusion. Death was just the natural thing. Why? Because you have to get rid of this body eventually. You know? And everyone has an expiration date. I have a timer on me, you have a timer on me, everyone has a timer. Everybody does. And just because you died does not mean you won't come back. Yes, there is reincarnation. If you don't believe it, then I'm sorry to tell you there is. All right? You don't have to believe me, but that shit is true. It's 100% true. If not, you won't be here. Where do your dreams come from? Exactly. Yes, your dreams come from different realities, but also it comes from what you're doing while you're sleeping. Yes, Your body, people have heard this before. Astral projection, if you ever heard of it. When you go to sleep, you have a cord on you, and your spirit is floating around throughout the universe and cosmos. That is real. All right. So when people are afraid that they're gonna die, just remember that you're about to go to a ward that is 10 times better than this shit. But you have to have the knowledge to know not to go to the fucking light. But the reason this whole light system is gonna fall, it's gonna break, because the government system made it that way millions upon millions of years ago. Or so they say. It hasn't been millions of years ago. It's been like, what, 400, 500 years? Yeah, it hasn't been that long. They just want to tell you that. But it hasn't been that long. Most people are like, then everything has been a lie than what they told us. Exactly. So that's why I say never listen to the government. Everything that they say to you is the opposite. That's how they work. And that's how their magic works also. Yes, they use voodoo. They use witchcraft. Okay? And not that good witchcraft. All right, there's two types of witchcrafts, a good one and a bad one, because it depends who uses it. If you're a good person using witchcraft, of course you're not going to go out and fucking do it to fucking good people. You're going to do it to bad people that fucking deserve it, like pedophiles, right? Of course. Think. You got to think, you know? And bad ones will use it against good people. But if you made out of carbon, most people might leave out of this video right away because it's like, oh, that's too much. If you are so-called Hispanic and Black, that won't affect you. Why? Because in ancient times, there were Black people and Hispanic people. White people, I'm sorry to say it, I'm sorry to tell you, white people are foreign to this planet, and we already know that. For crying out loud, they tell you this in fucking school. And yet people still want to be like, oh, that's racist? So we're racing now? Where are we racing to? To the finish line for what? To see who's the better race? That's something to think about, man. It's like for newcomers, you know? Because I already know that shit. There's no such thing as race. There's such thing as species, yes, okay? Black people and Hispanic people are literally cousins. The ones that are part the Afro bloodline, like me. You know? Yes, I'm a brother, basically. I'm more close to a Black person is than a white person is. Because that's how it is, and people will agree with that. But if I said that you're an orc, you won't agree with that, which I'm sorry to tell you, your species came from orcs. And yes, they spliced the DNA, yes, they made it with us, so that's what the way you look now. And most people are like, what does this have to do with death and everything like that? What happens when you die? The reason for that is that you need to know this. It's a crucial information that you need to know, because if you don't know that, then if you're not made out of carbon, it goes to your soul. Most people are like, okay, I'm listening. What does that do? Your soul, if you're so-called Hispanic and Black, you can live forever and you will not die and deteriorate. You can't die. But if you're so-called white, in ancient times, they made you in a way that you will be deteriorated over time. Why do you think some white people cannot breed right now? It's mostly Blacks and Hispanic people. Why? It's because you guys are not genetically proper for this planet. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. And if I was screaming and saying F you and all that, you probably wouldn't listen to me. But I'm calm down, being respectful. And if you can be respectful to it too, thank you. I want you guys to listen to this, because this is crucial information, man. It really is. Even if you're white and you don't want to hear this, you still need to hear this, because this does affect you really, really much. It does. It really affects you. Because your founding fathers that we were told are extraterrestrials that fucked up and made sure there is life and death. I'm not kidding with you with this. It's actually true. But if you can search it, you can search it. But keep searching and keep searching. Because these motherfuckers always hide it. They always make sure that, hey, there's a little bit of truth, then there's a whole bunch of lies. And then you will believe the lies than the truth. Because there's only a little bit of truth, then there's a whole bunch of lies. Don't believe the big chunks. Believe the small stuff. And then take the small stuff and go with it with other things. You know? And there's a lot of movies and video games that touch upon death and the afterlife and what you do in the afterlife. A lot of people say it goes to this religion stuff and everything like that. Look, when you die, you will feel pure love and pure energy. That's all you feel is pure love, because that's what it is. God is love, because that's what it is. You know? And when you feel, and the thing is, you can feel that right now without dying. Most people are like, how do I feel that? Meditating. Yes, they did that in ancient times too. The understand and overstand, if you don't know what that means, the understand, which that is not the correct word actually. See, they fucked that shit up. But for you that don't understand and overstand what those words mean, I'll say it, that they understood that was meant for something else. It wasn't meant for what people think it is, you know? People around here that are scared of dying. And I have to say to you this, don't be scared of dying. If you're scared of dying, then when you're on your deathbed, what are you going to think in your head? You're going to feel regretful of all the shit you probably didn't do. Or be regretful of like, oh, I don't know the meaning of life. And the meaning of life is actually being spiritual and meditating and hanging out with nature. Because that's our core essence, nature. It is. Because we're made from nature. For crying out loud, when we die, we get buried in the fucking dirt. That is nature. Come on, man. You know? When people say, oh, we're not nature, I'm like, then what? Okay, if you say that, then you're literally not nature. You're made from a test tube. And that's not good. That's not good. Most people are like, but that, look, when stuff like that happens, for example, you have a short lifespan than a person that does have a soul. And even some white people that, because there's some white people that look white, but they're not white. They're felines. And your soul is carbon if you're a feline. Because so-called black people and Hispanic people like me, we made felines and lizard people back then. Yes, they're real. They're real people. They're not fake. And if you think they're fake, then you have another thing coming, because shit is about to hit the fan December soon. Okay? You're going to see those beings. And you're going to look at me like, oh my God. But I won't talk about that. I'm still talking about the soul and when you're dying and shit. Okay? So, Hispanics and black people, we live forever and we keep leveling up. A long time ago, there was a person that was so-called black and Hispanic that made white people. And he made sure that your soul, every time you incarnated, it get deteriorate. Why? Because you weren't made from nature. You were genetically modified by other things. And then when your species, when the white people species found out, you know what they did? They grabbed DNA from pigs, goats, wolves, and they spliced it inside of themselves, making them into monsters. And that is why the flood happened. And us people, Hispanics and black people, we knew that was going to happen. Some of us knew. We tried to stop it, but obviously when the Lord was like, hey, the Lord let the flood happen too, because we did the flood. The Lord didn't do the flood, we did the flood. We fucked up that bad. Because when beings came down here and tried to fuck everything up, especially with our soul, when they fucked a lot of shit up, they did something before they came here. Because the thing is with this, guys, I want you to understand that they can't possess Hispanic people and black people. They can try, but it's going to be limited. It's going to be hard for them. That's why you see every time these politicians acting so greedy, so fucked up, because they are possessed. They're not what they are. They died a long time ago. They died a long time ago. They're not who they say they are. For example, if Seth Green, you see Seth Green, right? Well, to be honest, he's a pedophile. He is. And the guy that told everybody that he was is killed, got killed for it. And he is a white person too. He's an orc. And most people are like, then Jim Henson is an orc. Then he died, right? Yes, he died because he was actually telling the truth in your movies of the Dark Crystal and the witches. Yeah, that's why he got killed for it. There's other things too that go to that, but mostly your soul is the most important thing in this plane of existence, because when you die and you move on, you literally can come back if you want to. It's up to your decision. It's not forced upon you what this government system has done. And most people be like, okay, fine, I'll humor you a bit. Yeah, fine. Okay, if you don't want to listen to me and think I'm lying, at least humor me. Right, fine, humor me. But if you still think that this is a lie and you be like, fine, I'll humor you, where is the system that makes you reincarnate? It's Saturn. Why do you think Saturn looks like the way it is? Yeah. Most people are like, what? Yes. And you know that whole shape that's there? It's in Saturn, the Pentagon. That is what it is. That's the machine that literally makes you reincarnated, and it points to the moon and it points to the earth. Technically, it points to the moon, and then when you reincarnate, you go to the moon and then you come back here. Yeah. Most people are like, I thought the moon was just dead and all that. Nope. Inside the moon, it's hollow. And if you don't believe me on that, you can check that out. Because they literally shot a bullet, not a bullet, but they shot something in the freaking moon saying that, oh, it's not hollow. But they shot it with a missile, and then all of a sudden it rained for like a minute, meaning that it's hollow. The earth is hollow too, but in a different way. Not exactly how the moon is, you know? With the earth, it actually has layers upon layers. And she actually has a soul also. Yes, the planet has a soul. It's another sun. Yes. So most people are like, wait a minute. So that sun that's up there, that's a soul? Yes. Your soul looks like a sun. Most people are like, then who's that? That's Mother Cosmos. That's Mother Cosmos. You could say it's the Lord too, but Mother Cosmos is most likely because the Lord is her son, you know. And plus, it's her also, but it's mostly her son, because a long time ago she knew that it needs to be a man and a woman. You can't just have it would be unbalanced. You need to have a balance, and that's how it was. And most people be like, then I thought you said the concept of life and death is not supposed to exist. It's not, because we're supposed to be immortal. But most people are like, how did this happen? Again, going back, the founding fathers came here and fucked a lot of shit up, but they don't want to tell you that. They changed history. And most people are like, okay, fine, I'll humor you with that. When did they came? In the 1500s. And that flood happened not even that long ago. It ended like 1812. And you can find pictures upon pictures of that. Literally. You see little children literally have to freaking dig up everything. It's just the kids. Where's the adults? They're all gone. They all died. Only the kids survived because the kids were pure. It doesn't matter if they were white, black, or Hispanic. They survived. So most people are like, oh, okay, so if the if the civilization was wiped out, basically the adults were wiped out, the kids would still be remaining? Yes, the kids would still be remaining. Because again, it goes back to they're pure. They're really pure of heart. And they didn't do anything bad. because they were still growing up and learning. As an adult, you still learning obviously, but you gotta know what the fuck you're doing. You know, it's almost, goes back to the whole pedophile thing. It's like, oh, that pedophile didn't know who was doing it. It's like, shut the fuck up. Yes, they did. The fuck they think they are, 5? Fuck off. It's like that, you know. So there is more to um dying and all that stuff in your soul, but that's really the key element of what it is in this video, if you listen to it and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. But hey, if you didn't like this video but you like some of the things that I was saying, like, you know, it got my gears going, then I'm happy that I did. You know, I'm happy that at least for one person at least, you know. And if you still don't believe me and you still think that, oh, me dying and going to a light will save me and stuff, at the end of the day, you need to save yourself. That's why in other civilizations around the world literally meditated, because they knew that no one can save them but you, because you are a god. They knew this in ancient times. If you can have sex and procreate, you are a god. That's why when people are born out of test tubes, you be like, you're not a god. You were all artificially created. That is not good. It's never been good. They do this with food. And then when you eat it, you can get sick and die. Or fucks up your pineal gland, which is the most important thing in your freaking brain. Because if this gets fucked up, if your third eye gets fucked up, guess what happens to you? You start getting sick and you start dying. This is the most important thing in your body, and they know it. The government. So I hope you enjoy this video. Again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you guys think. You know, and for my subscribers, tell me what you guys think. You know, you think I did a good job on trying to explain it. If you want me to explain more, I will. You know, I won't mind talking about this. I love talking about shit like this. You know, so, and I'm not saying I know everything. I don't, but I've learned stuff over the years. You know, I'm 27 years old and I've learned a lot of stuff. And I'm still learning, you know, so I'll see you guys later and be safe.